Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Spectacle. I am your host, Spectre, and we're going to be learning a bit more today. Today we'll be working on positioning and game sense. Originally in my plans I had kept these two separate, but it's kinda hard to talk about one without talking about the other, so we'll be going over both in this video today. Keep in mind that game sense in particular is one of those skills that unfortunately can't really be taught, and is something that you have to work on yourself. In later videos, we'll be going over some things that can help build your game sense, but I felt we should introduce the concept to those who might not know first, so we can talk about it later down the line. Game sense is almost exactly what it sounds like. It's your innate sense of what's currently going on in the game. To start off, I will take you through the analysis of a game from a tournament I played in with a pickup, a group of players who aren't my usual teammates. The reason I chose this footage over perhaps solo or twins is because both teams will show coordination. Both teams are assumed to be using comms. I'm not making individual plays like I would in solo, and I am communicating with my teammates. With that, let's start. One good place to start analysis is after a death. You made a mistake somehow in order to die. Let's take a look at a few things on screen with a quick pause. One thing to check is the time. This is kinda less important than the other two things we'll look at, but important nonetheless. Do I have the time to kinda slowly push back in, or is it down to the wire and we need to make something happen now? Next is how many players are up. Here my blaster has just died, so we're down a man compared to the enemy who has all 4 of their people up. The charger also has Stingray, and no one on my team has their special, so we're also down a special too. A Stingray is a push killer, so we need to take that charger out before he can run back to spawn if we want to make anything happen. Last is the scoreboard. Right now, neither team has a super convincing push that could easily be defended for a sure win. The tower isn't close to our side yet, so I can still have time to get ready for defending a push, which is about to happen. Going off script, here I see that 2 of my teammates are already in the main, and the charger's on the bridge, plus they just took the tower. So being the backline and anchor of this comp, I'm moving forward to stop the tower and letting my teammates doing all the killing. As you can see that they did handle, and I did stop the tower, which means we got a wipe and now we can start our push. The charger was taken out, so we don't have to worry about a Stingray to get our push moving. Right now, I'm just kind of positioning myself around the tower. Everyone's going to be in front of me, and I definitely want to make sure that no one's going to try and jump out at me, like that. Going back on script, let's do a little bit more analysis. Pausing here again and using what we talked about earlier, let's sense what's going on in the game right now. There's 2 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time for us to still continue our push, but also plenty of time for the enemy to make a comeback as well. Looking at the players up top, there's only 2 of us left, me and the NZAP. Not strong forward killing weapons, especially for a close quarters combat scenario when the tower gets to this point. However, the enemy also has 2 down, so we feel confident enough to continue squeezing out as many points as we can, or stalling to see if our teammates can jump in. Right now, the enemy can only come from one spot, so I'm positioning myself to look forward. Someone could come slightly from the left, but if I remain on the tower and it keeps moving, they'll most likely come straight for me in a rush to stop us. Things are bad. The enemies are respawning faster, my teammates aren't back, my NZAP just died, everyone is trying to kill me, I'm just stalling and accepting my death. However, using my sense of the game, we managed to get this push this far. After dying again, I'll do the same. Think of it as a checklist you can mentally run yourself through every time you play to improve. How many of my teammates are up? How much time do I have? How many specials do we have? Where's the objective? How much of my ink is on the map? These are just 5 basic things you can run through your head to slowly work on your game sense. After that, you can start thinking about where your teammates are, what specials they have that can help push back in, and so on and so forth. We talked about the game sense side of it, now let's watch the same footage and look at the positioning side of it. Once again, we're going to pause so we can look closely. It's not the best frame to view it, but the charger is on that bridge. That's a fight I ain't winning with the Splatling. We might have equal-ish range, but that light means he's ready to kill me in 1 hit versus my 4 shots. I'm going to go position myself elsewhere. Plus, I mentioned earlier that I had 2 teammates already heading that way. I move into this alley here where I'm in prime position to stop the tower at a distance. The charger is on the bridge where I can't reach him, but he can't reach me either, and I outrange everyone else. Using my game sense of everything going on, I position myself accordingly to shut this push down. Here we're just eyeing everything that's going on. Enemies are respawning, so we're staying behind the tower pole to not get sniped while everyone else is going forward. We're also keeping an eye out on that left alley. As we saw earlier, people like to pop out from it. I feel far enough to use my stingray here, even if it's not for kills. It can push people into my teammates who can clean them up. Reaching where we stopped last time, let's pause again. It's just me and the Inzap, trying to squeeze out a few more points. I'm staying behind the pole as much as possible, but still peeking out to spray ink to slow the enemy down as I stall. 2 enemies are down and the tower is still being pushed to the checkpoint, so I'm not too worried about having to position myself to stop someone coming from my left. The charger is back up now, and as the person who can kill me with one shot, I'm going to position myself to dodge him first by staying behind the pole and moving a lot, and making sure I don't get hit. Sure, there are 2 other enemies right beside me who could kill me up close, but the charger has equal range as me, and will one-shot me. He's my priority. Wrapping this up, let's go back over on a few things we talked about this session. GameSense is sensing what's going on around you in the game. It's quickly observing everything that's going on around you and letting that influence your decision making as you play. GameSense also influences your positioning, where you place yourself as you move around the map. By putting yourself in the correct spots at the correct times, you can easily defend pushes and start them as well. Keep in mind that this perspective is backline perspective. Your sense of what's going on and how to move will vary on what role you're playing in the team, which ties back to our Knowing Your Weapon, the episode we had last time. If I missed anything, please let me know and I will do my best to answer questions in the comments. Please hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw and you want to see more. In the meantime and in between time, this has been Spectre, and I'll catch y'all later.